said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. They're fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like
Oh
that.
yeah, because it gives the demon spirits an opportunity to impersonate the dead. She said her voice went through me, the power.
Sharing your bed. I didn't say I slept in the bed. Even if I did sleep in the bed, it's okay. I am not going to do anything sexual to a child. It's not where my heart is. I will slit my wrist first. I would never do anything like that. That's not Michael Jackson, I'm sorry. That's someone else. That's someone else.
As God has shown us by turning stones to bread. Has God turned stones to bread? That's a lie. In fact, that's a quote of Satan right out of the Bible. Because the scriptures say, Satan says, turn these stones to bread.
October 28th, the highly anticipated movie Michael Jackson's This Is It will be in theaters worldwide. Reports say it is already selling out. This Is It has been described as an unguarded look at Michael's final days as he prepared for his comeback concerts in London. The man who was by Michael's side every step of the way was his director and longtime friend, Kenny Ortega. If you don't welcome Kenny Ortega. Welcome. I have to say, we've all been hearing about the upcoming release of This Is It. Clearly, this was a labor of love for you. This morning, an armed guard brought in a portion of the DVD for me to see and waited and took it back. And I have to say, I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that. He seems in perfect voice and in perfect form. He didn't seem tired. He seemed really skinny, but he didn't seem tired. It just felt magical. The 12 minutes I just watched just felt magical. How has it been for you, putting all this together?
Well, healing, actually. You know, I didn't know that if I could get through it. You know, when the news first came of Michael's death, I had the hardest time.
Because you had just seen him 14 hours earlier.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, we just said, see you tomorrow. You know, I love you more. And so
you always said, I love you, and he'd say, I love you more.
I love you more.
Also, he has this quality of actually, I heard you say, the younger dancers, you know, he was going to be 51, but the younger dancers would get tired before he would, that he could dance and dance and dance and not be breathless because he became one with the music.
Yeah, he was. He was channeling, you know. Yeah. It was as if he was the music. He embodied the music.
So it made you just a little bit nervous.
Oh, yes.
But yet you kept going back.
Oh, there was no way out. Because that's what we're told.
You knew at that time. Yeah. So you were moving forward more on fear.
More on fear, yes. Because the high priest said that the master had special plans for us in our lives. And that no one ever went into this society unless they were invited by the spirits. See, so that was made very clear. And he also expressed to us the danger, explained to us the danger of going against the will of the spirits. And he mentioned about this one man and his wife that live in a fireproof building in Montreal. The place burned right down with him in it. He was one of their members that had decided that, well, he wanted to think things over. He was not going to get initiated at a time that the spirit said he would like him to be initiated into the society.
So in reality, Roger, you were chosen by high-powered demon spirits to be a part of their human, special, privileged group.
You see, these people in Montreal, the society, like the priest mentioned, there's thousands of spirit worshippers in only different societies of spirit worshippers in this world. But he says, we are the elite. We know the real truth about the Master and his angels. And they are not hideous-looking beings. They are gorgeous creatures. And from the paintings that they had on the wall of the walls of that worship room, they were unique beings. Especially there was a painting full length painting of the fallen Lucifer above his altar, and that was very fascinating because he looked like a man of great intellect, high forehead, the way that he looked with his eyes, the way he had the eyes looking. It gave you a depth of perception of somebody that is very, very knowledgeable and
powerful.
Powerful, yeah.
Yes. There's a funny story about Prince. Will you share that?
Well, you know, Michael just was a funny man, you know, and he loved to laugh. He had the greatest laugh. I shall miss that as much as, you know, so many other parts of Michael. I mean, he would bellow. He would laugh so hard he would fall on the ground and beat the ground, you know. And one day I was being very serious with him, and he was saying that he had been channeling, and therefore he didn't sleep, and he was working on songs, and his higher power was working through him and giving him ideas. And I was like, can't you talk to your higher power, please, and just ask if he could shelf these ideas until we open in London, and then we'll make sure that you have a recording studio at the gig and one at the house, and you can work on the record from that point on. And he was like, I can't do that. And I was like, why? And he was like, he'll give the ideas to Prince.
I love that. I love that. He said, God's speaking to me, and if I don't do it, he's going to give the ideas.
Give them to someone else.
He's going to give them to Prince.
But when you get into a secret society of spirit worshippers, then, and especially when you're invited there by the direction of the higher-ups in the spirit world, you never get out of there alive. And this is exactly what my friend and I were up against. We didn't know anything about it.
Do you think, Michael, do you think it's murder?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I said it in the beginning, and I believe it to this day. You must remember, Michael told me repeatedly that they were going to kill him, that he was going to die. And he would say that. And when I heard my mother scream, he's dead, immediately I said, who did it? I didn't say what for, what of, what happened, who did it? Because he repeatedly said that. And he not only told me, he told my mother as well, and she mentions it quite often too.
And who did it?
There's quite a few involved. The doctor that you're looking at, the doctor that you see there, was the fall guy. That's what he was. He was the fall guy.
And so there are people in the background?
There are people in the
pulling
background.
strings?
Yes, absolutely.
This is one of the bathrooms. There are two bathrooms in this. This is one of the bathrooms. This is one of the bathrooms.
Latoya, are you going to be attending Dr. Murray's court case?
Absolutely.
What do you think about him delaying everything, dragging his feet?
What kind of sentence should you receive, Latoya?
Death penalty. That's what he should be on the firing range. They murdered my brother, and they know who they are. It's not just Dr. Murray, I promise you that. It's more people involved, and they know exactly who they are, and I'm going to let you guys know exactly what's happening and what's going on. It's more than just Dr. Murray that's involved in this.
You are an amazing singer. I just want to know, what sort of advice would you give an aspiring singer or actress? Because I know Hollywood can be a really hard town to try to break into. And what kind of advice would you give to them before they embark on this incredible journey? Thank you, and I hope you answer my question.
When I was 15, because I grew up in, a household where all I ever did was listen to gospel music, and my parents are both traveling ministers, and so I kind of sang about, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music, but it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
The boy in the bubble who never could adapt. I'm trapped. If I can go back, I never would have rapped. I sold my soul to the devil, I'll never get it back. The boy in the bubble who never could adapt. I'm trapped. If I can go back, I never would have rapped. I sold my soul to the devil, I'll never get it back.
And there was a very, very popular big band leader,
jazz musician.
band, very famous. He played a lot in Montreal, Canada, Vancouver, the big cities. And one night we went to one of these seances, and he was with his wife. Now the spirits had told him what to do. Spirit told him, "There's two of these guys. Give the names, and your wife will want to talk." We'll make it so that your wife will want to talk to the medium when you say that you want to go home because you're tired. As soon as you see that these guys are starting to want to leave, then leave with them at the same time. And as you get outdoors, you ask them if they're driving. They'll say no, they're going to take the tramway a couple blocks away. Well, you invite them to get in your car with you, and that you will take them to a fancy restaurant and treat them to some good food and talk about the merchant navy. And that's what the guy did. And as we talk, the band leader says, "How long have you fellas been involved with sorcery?" And he chopped us a little bit, and I said, "Exactly what do you mean?" "Well," he said, what you people are doing, talking to the supposed spirits of the dead. He says, this is silly."
And this man had been at the seance with you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he's telling you that it's silly what you've just done.
Because see, my wife, he says, goes to these seances because she gets comfort, and she gets something good out of it, good feeling out of it. And she lives for what the spirits are going to see that the future is going to be like. To me, he says, "I can't bother with this stuff." He says, "I want power. I go right to the source of power." And he says, "How do you think that I became famous the way that I am?" Well, I said, "You must have had some good luck." Well, he says, "There's no such thing as good luck." He says, "There's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation." So it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship. He said, "You guys have got a great future ahead of you, because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too."
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, "Look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing. He says among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood. And God did not bear with him like he does with people that make mistakes today. So we're in a warfare, good against evil. And we happen to be the evil ones, but we're not that bad. He says, I look at this business between the forces of good and evil. He says, you believe in one person believes in God, and everyone believes in Lucifer. It's like politics. Wednesday night came, he was there with his big Lincoln, step in, and we went to one of the most beautiful area of Montreal. And the place was a mansion. Now, a mansion is usually very large. We'll call this a small mansion. It was beautiful, most beautiful place. Yeah.
Roger, your friend George took you and Roland to this mansion where people worshipped the demons. Mm-hmm. What was it like there? What kind of people were there?
Well, it was a big surprise for me, as I kind of made up in my mind an idea that they were going to be rough-looking characters. But as we entered the place, I was amazed to see that they were all very well dressed, well-mannered, and that a lot of the people, as we were being introduced to people, were professionals, doctors, attorneys, a lot of business people. And see what they had a praise session to the gods, which is the spirit counselors, which are in charge of legions of spirits, of demon spirits. And they talk about what the Lord of their lives has done for them, because they call on particular spirits, like the god Nehushtan, which you read in 2 King about. The Israelites worshipped the golden serpent that Moses had made. Mm-hmm. Well, behind the spirit worship, behind that, they were worshipping the serpent. They were actually worshipping this spirit Nehushtan. And the same spirit Nehushtan is, the priest was telling us, that the medical doctor that was telling us how he was making operations that had never been made before, because people had to be awake, have no feeling. He was able to, carry on surgeries that had not been done before. Mm-hmm. But the spirits would give that capacity to be able to operate without people feeling any pain and things.